Yo, what's going on, guys? And today, yes, you guys know what time it is. And I've held off on doing this one, and it could be redone. But we're doing the Milwaukee Bucks offseason predictions. I held out because I thought there was a possibility that Mike Budenholzer would be fired. But I think due to the fact that what happened with his uncle, I almost said his uncle, his brother, he's probably not going to be fired. And if he is, it's going to be a little bit later. Because you don't fire a grieving man. T's and P's out to Mike Budenholzer. You know, I feel bad for him, his family, for the loss of his brother. But let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks who fell on their face. I will say, you guys know if you follow my NBA show, the NBA show that I do with Will Upton, a.k.a. Jackson Elstro, Mr. Golf Balling. We were saying for the longest time the conference final was gonna be the Bucks versus Celtics. They were 58-24 in the regular season. This team was amazing, and the thing with it was really they didn't have Chris Middleton. It seemed like for a majority of the year, and when he was there, he wasn't the best. And will Chris Middleton stay? Seems like he's going to where whoever's going to pay him the highest dollar. And is it even worth the Bucks paying him? Let me hear your thoughts down below before we start today's video. What do you think that they should do and why? It's rather impressive with what's going on, specifically when you're looking at a team like Milwaukee Bucks, that they have some decisions to make. I think they need to get younger. So they have the 58th pick in the draft. They'll probably draft someone random who may or may not be on the roster. You guys remember Georgios Kalaiakis? And with Chris Middleton, who has a player option, looking like he's going to decline it. Brook Lopez is an unrestricted free agent. So is Jay Crowder, Joe Ingles, Wesley Matthews. Javon Carter has a player option, which probably will decline it because he got himself a payday. Giannis Antetokounmpo will probably be brought back because nepotism. And Goran Dragic and AJ Green. I'm sorry, I was joking about Antetokounmpo. He's actually a good basketball player. So for the first time since 2018, Giannis and the Bucks were eliminated in the first round. Unlike last time when Milwaukee was the 7th seed, the expectations were different. This was a team that had the best record in the NBA, only to become the 6th number 1 seed to lose in the first round. How this Bucks team regroups is dependent on two factors. First is how much ownership is willing to commit financially to keeping the starting five intact. Since 2020 to 21 season, Milwaukee has paid $136 million toward the luxury tax. That figure is likely to increase if Brook Lopez signs a new contract. And there's argument out there that, some NBA journalists and stuff saying that Brook Lopez playing the drop coverage, specifically in the playoffs, is disadvantage to the Bucks because it's easily exposed. Brook Lopez still was a defensive player of the year candidate, so it's not like he's Steven Adams. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you go out and you get yourself a different center, a more modern center? Lopez is an unrestricted free agent. Chris Middleton has a player option. The second is reshaping a bench that has 7 free agents. And look, they just don't have dogs. Like, Grayson Allen shouldn't have been the guy with the last shot. Milwaukee doesn't have a first-round pick. It's unlikely to have available the $5 million tax mid-level exception if they do all that. So, including Middleton's 40.4 player option, Milwaukee has $157 million in salary, $5 million below the luxury tax threshold. If Middleton opts in by June 21st and Lopez resigns, the Bucks will be a tax team for the 4th straight season and pay a significant penalty because of the repeater tax. Backup guard Javon Carter has until June 29th to opt into his $2.2 million contract. Lopez and Middleton, likely, it's pretty insane. Likely may or may not be here. Lopez, though, all defensive team for the second time in 4 years. Lopez led the NBA in total blocks and total contested shots per second spectrum tracking. His 1,362 shots contested were 445 more than any player. Lopez held opponents to 50.2% shooting at the rim, 3rd best among players to defend at least 100 shots per second spectrum. He also helped on more drives than any other player in the league, which played a role in the Bucks having the 2nd best defense against drives in the regular season. Because of the over 38 rule, Lopez turned 35 in April. The max contract that Lopez can get from the Bucks is a 3-year, $54 million deal. Middleton has played more than 20,000 minutes since the 2013-14 season and has a decision to make on his player option. He can opt in and look to extend or become a free agent and sign a lower salary but with more years attached. During the 4-year span from 2017-18 to 2020-21, Middleton shot 44.4% on off-the-dribble jumpers, which ranked 4th best among 44 players with at least 1,000 attempts per second spectrum ranking, trailing only Chris Paul, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. But in the past 2 seasons, if you guys want to hear, and there's something very interesting, okay? So with that being said, I think it definitely gets interesting because over the last 2 seasons, that 44.4% off the dribble jumpers, which ranked 4th best, has fallen to 39.5% and just ranks middle of the pack. He's missed 67 games over the past 2 seasons with the various ailments. And after missing just 73 games in his first 8 seasons, the reality is he might be regressing and declining. And a $40 million player option is something that I don't think Middleton is anymore. And Milwaukee can't afford to bring him back. Okay, yeah, he's currently ranked as the 5th best, free agent according to Hoops Hype. But you could maybe go out there and bring in like Kelly Oubre, all right, Bruce Brown, and maybe a guy like Dante DiVincenzo back, and Trey Jones, and Matisse Thybulle, Ayo DeSumo, all guys you could target that I think would be better fits. Am I wrong? That $40 million can be split across 5 players, $8 million on average. Obviously, it would be different for each one. That would have a bigger impact. You could rebuild your whole bench. And the same thing goes for a center. Go out and get Naz Reid, all right? Go out and get yourself Mason Plumlee. Go center by committee if you wanted, okay? Go out and get yourself, I'm not saying that, or like Jalen McDaniels who could help you, or go take a chance and trade up in the draft and get a young big. I think these bigs aren't, Deron Sharp didn't look bad. And right now, nearly 2.5 years after signing a 5-year, $228 million Supermax extension, he's going to be eligible, but we're hearing that he's going to wait to sign. Grayson Allen and Crowder are also eligible, but wing depth. The Crowder trade was thought to bolster the Bucks bench. Instead, the veteran played a total of 42 minutes in the playoffs, including a DMP in Game 4. Crowder's an unrestricted free agent. Joe Ingles averaged 7.7 points and shot 48.9% from 3 after the All-Star break. But because he signed a 1-year deal, Milwaukee doesn't have his bird rights on him and is limited to offering him a new contract starting at $7.7 million. They sent their 2025 pick to New Orleans, and they have 2 second-round picks available for trade, but it's really going to be through free agency is what they got to do. That's my predictions. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good jazz, but that's going to be it for me. Peace out.